And now, your main event. Introducing the hosts of Wrestling with Freddie, Jeff Dye, and Freddie Prinze Jr.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Wrestling with Freddie. This episode is entitled, We Miss You, Jeff, because Jeff has food poisoning. Let's start the damn show. All right, everybody, we're going to talk Night of Champions. We might talk a little bit of SummerSlam because it's coming up. And then on Thursday's show, since you guys like those questions so much, you sent in a ton of them, we're going to answer more questions, and it'll just be me. So if you had questions for Jeff, tough titties. That's what Richard Pryor said in The Toy. Okay, here we go, guys. We'll jump right into it. Oh, first, I can't ask where Jeff's going to be this weekend because he's not here, but I can tell you what I did this weekend. I had the press junket for my movie, I Know What You Did Last Summer. It comes out July 18th. I hope you guys put your asses in seats and find whoever you want to go to the movies with and spend that gas money and buy overpriced popcorn and overpriced drinks and overpriced candy and sit in a big old seat and get comfy and enjoy. Horror movies are usually the kind of movies that I think motivate people to get up, get out, and go to theaters. I have seen the movie. I'm not bullshitting you. It's really, really good. I had so much fun making this film. I got into this business to make movies that were seen on the big screen. The business has changed, obviously, and you have to evolve with it. But these kind of movies are my dream movies, big summer movies, Halloween movies, anything like that that gets people to the theater. So I really hope you guys see it. The response has been excellent so far. There was one Australian lady who interviewed me, and she's not a fan of like using IP, intellectual property, and literally didn't ask me one question about the movie. She was just like, so IPs, what are your thoughts on those? But in like an Australian accent that I can't do. And I was like, well, with I Know What You Did and Scooby-Doo, I've been in a few of them, and I guess I don't mind them that much. And she was just like, cricket, cricket, cricket. I was like, yeah, you could. I didn't say this, but in my head, I was like, you could suck on that. Thanks a lot for that question. And then all she did was ask me about what city was better, Sydney, Australia, or the Gold Coast. And I told her, if you're retiring, the Gold Coast. If you're pre-retirement, Sydney. And I don't know if she liked that answer. I don't know if she liked me, but I know she doesn't like movies that aren't original. And for all of you who agree with her, and by the way, I'm one of them, every writer has like 20, 30 original scripts that they've written, and a lot of them are pretty damn good. It's just the executives at these studios won't even take a meeting to hear these ideas. You have to remember the studios like Universal Studios makes about 15 to 17 movies a year. A certain number of those are going to be sequels. A certain number of those have to be a particular type of movie, like a horror film because of their deal with Blumhouse. A certain number has to be sequels. So there's not, when it comes down to it, there's not a lot of room for original scripts. And you have to remember the average like lifespan of an executive, not their life, their health, but the amount of time they keep their job is about 3.5 years. And so these people are getting fired and recycled time and time and time again. They don't have a lot of times the vision, which is bad. They should all have vision, but a lot of them do not. And on top of that, and maybe you might think even more importantly, a lot of them don't have the courage to take a chance on an original script, because if they do and it gets made and it comes out and people don't see it because it's not a name they know, it's not a name they trust, it doesn't have a cast that they know, which is on that part is on the audience, then that person loses their job. They don't get their, or at the very least they don't get their bonus that they hope to get. And that's why all these execs get in the business now. It's all about that bonus. The base salary's cool, but the bonuses, they can make, $20-30 million when they're at the highest levels. Sometimes even more, which is crazy. I don't think they need to be making that much. By the way, I don't think I need to be making that much either. That's not just hater syndrome. But that's kind of what you're dealing with the original script thing. And then the media doesn't have the courage to criticize the executives in charge, whose names are on the movie as well a lot of times, And it's easy to know like who you can just ask and it's not like a big secret. But if they criticize the executives, then they don't get invited to the press junkets and they don't get to advance their careers. So it's this, as Fat Bastard from Austin Powers said, it's a vicious circle and it goes around and around and around and around. Now, there are actors who are wanting to start their own studio, kind of like what Charlie Chaplin did with United Artists back in the day. There's A24 that exists out there. There's Neon that exists out there. These are smaller studios, A24 being the larger of the two, the largest of probably all the small studios. And they don't fall prey to the same corporate sort of rulings that Sony and Universal and Warner Brothers and MGM, like that, all the Disney, that all these corporations kind of force them to do. Like you have to hire this kind of actor, you have to hire this kind of writer, you have to hire this kind, instead of like best actor for the job, right? Or best writer for the job, or best this person for the job. It's very corporate run now. Whereas A24 is much more chill and loose and free. They're like, yeah, let's just get cool people and make movies. So this is a long-winded thing, but a lot of people are interested in the business, and this is sort of my take based on my, 30 plus years of experience out here and kind of seeing the system change from privately owned studios to corporate owned studios. My generation was the last one to get to experience privately owned studios, and then they all started getting bought. I think Seagram's bought Universal, Sony bought Columbia, and then they all started getting bought up after that. AOL bought Warner Brothers. It was a crazy time, but I got in there just before it happened, so I've gotten to experience both. Let's go to Saudi Arabia. Not physically, but figuratively. This was Night of Champions, and I think it was the best show they've put on in Saudi Arabia since they started that deal. It had the most storylines going into it, it felt like. It had some really good matches, like Raquel Rodriguez, Rhea Ripley. Did they like steal the whole show? Am I freaking crazy? And the crowd went bananas for them. They definitely had their favorites, and they definitely had people that they weren't crazy about, which was weird to me, but they did not like Jade Cargill, which was strange. But let's talk about the show. Like I said, Jeff is out today, so you only get me being wrong, and I was wrong a lot this week. Now, if you were betting a parlay, I did you dirty, and I apologize. If you were going for the sure thing, then you followed our lead on the Jade Cargill thing. We said she was going to win Queen of the Ring before she was even in the Queen of the Ring tournament. We've been on that one for a long time. So here we go. Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn. Everyone's favorite Karrion Kross, who for whatever reason has not received a push yet, versus Sami Zayn, who everybody loves, right? We didn't get to pick this match because it was booked after we record. We record these on Mondays, so my Monday Night Raw will be on tonight. I can't talk to you about that one until next week, but we'll be here every week. But they had a match which was much more sort of a story-driven match in regards to Karrion Kross kind of barking in his ear, whispering in his ear, constantly telling him, hey, this isn't who you are. You're a nasty son of a bitch just like me, and you got to embrace that. And Sammy's like, yo, I've had enough of you barking, Kross. We're going to fight. We're going to fight at Night of Champions. And so Kross agrees. They have this fight. I think a lot of people thought Karrion was going to win this, or Killer Kross, Karrion Kross, whatever you want to call him. But if we had to pick, I would have picked Sami Zayn because I don't think they're ready to push Kross yet. I think it's going to happen. I don't know about like contract status and stuff like that. I know things get leaked, but that's not something that I pay attention to. That's a man's business, and I try to let that stuff be private. But I will say this. I believe his next contract will be the type of contract where the character receives a push worthy of the money that the character is getting paid. I think he is going to be a big-time star. I think they know he's going to be a big-time star. I think there's only so many slots up top, and you're already paying out that money to those top stars. So to bring someone up who's not making as much as the top guys is almost like a waste of money on the top guys. You want to get as much money as you can because you put so much out to the Codys and the Randys and the Cenas and the CM Punks and the Seth Rollins. So they need to fill those spots, and the other guys need to fill the spots beneath them. But that's not eternal. That's not prison. That's not jail. It's just bide your time, be prepared and ready, when opportunities arise, you can easily say Cross has been prepared and ready for every single opportunity they've given him, no matter how big or small. He's shown up every time in every backstage segment, in every match, whether he was solo with Scarlett. I guess you can't be solo with Scarlett. Whether he was with Scarlett or whether he was in a faction, like, he was fully committed all the time. So you can't take that from him. And then when it's time to renegotiate and it's time for you to step up, they pay you what they feel you're going to be worth in that next generation, that next chapter in your career. And then you get the push. That's what I think's going to happen based on my experience. I know nothing. All right. I haven't talked to anybody on the inside and been like, so what do you think? Yeah, I'm not like Scoop with the hat and the little press reporter thing on it. I'm just telling you what I think. So I don't mind that he lost, although I mind that he lost, just like you. But I don't think these losses are going to be forever. I really think he's going to get a big push, and I think it's going to happen pretty soon. Next up, Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez. This was another match that was added after we recorded, so we weren't able to give it to you. But we all would have said Rhea Ripley, just like you. I think everybody knew she would win this match. But what we didn't know was how much the crowd was going to love Raquel Rodriguez by the end of this match. We knew how much they'd love Rhea. Everybody loves Rhea. You're not like first on that boat. Nobody is. But this match was awesome. And I kind of think, I said this at the beginning of the show, I kind of think that it stole the night. These women went so hard, and they're both big, strong chicks, right? They're not like the tiny wrestlers that bounce around and fly around almost like a luchador. They're big and strong, and they're slamming each other. And to pick either one of them up, you got to have some muscle on your body. You got to work out and lift, and both those chicks for sure do. This match was so much fun to watch. I still think it might be match of the night. That's kind of wild to say because it wasn't for a title, and the story was pretty quick. It was only like 2 weeks to get to it. But damn, if they didn't bring the house down, like Saudi loved them. And by the time the match was over, they loved Raquel too. Great match. I loved watching it. We didn't get to bet, but I hope you guys made some money. Solo Sikoa, this one hurts because we're suckers. That's why it hurts. Versus Jacob Fatu for the U.S. Championship. Jacob was the champ. And we said this was going to be an easy win. We thought it was going to be a piece of cake. And everything would be, roses for Fatu. What we didn't take into account was the Tongans have been off TV for a while. It looked like Solo Sikoa was all alone, all by himself. We've heard rumors that this other guy is going to get signed online. I think his name's like Hikalia or something like that. I don't watch a lot of Japanese wrestling, so I'm not educated on that. But we should have known something was up, and they wouldn't just rocket ship Jacob. Now he's got he lost the match, y'all, in case you didn't know. A lot of interference from a lot of other people came in. It was just too many men for him to deal with. But now he's got a mountain to climb. And you don't put him in the world title picture just yet. He has to get his revenge, and he has to make good on who we think he is. So he's going to go through them one by one. He's going to go through JC Mateo. He's going to go through the new guy. I don't want to say his name wrong again, so I'll just say the gigantic Samoan dude. He's going to have to go through Tongaloa. If Tama comes back, he'll have to go through him, all just to get his hands on Solo, and then he finally will. And then maybe you can see LA Knight come in and get the title off of him, and he can move on. But he's got a ways to go. And man, my allergies are killing me today. My eyes are going wild. But anyway, we got that one really wrong, and I'm so sorry, you guys. I lost you money because a lot of you probably were like, "Yeah, that makes sense. I feel the exact same way." And Freddie just gave me, that confirmation. And that's what I was looking for, affirmation in my beliefs. And I screwed you. I let you down. But don't call me to get your money back. That shit ain't happening. Because we told you about Jade Cargill and Asuka. And we told you that one person was ready for Asuka's ass. And that was Jade Cargill. And we said this before Jade Cargill even wrestled in her qualifying match for the Queen of the Ring. The weird thing about this match was from Jump Street, from her entrance, the Saudis weren't having it with Jade. And it wasn't even, they weren't even booing. They just weren't having it. It was the weirdest response I've ever seen to her in AEW or WWE. I don't know why. They weren't having it. They showed Asuka some love, not crazy love, but they showed her some love. But it was nothing compared to what Raquel and Rhea got. So if you have any homies over there, call them up, ask them, let me know on our socials, on our Instagram socials or whatever other ones. Hit me up, let me know. But they wrestled. Jade hit her with the finish out of nowhere, and gets the win over Asuka. And we move to the King of the Ring, where my dumbass got this wrong too. And I should have known better, because they just did Randy John, and I know they just did Cody John, but that was before Randy John. So if those are your only two options, Cody or Randy, we should have picked Cody. That was the logical decision. I went with my heart on this one. I know I talk a lot of shit on Randy because he broke my back, but I love Randy, and he's awesome, and he protected me, and I was the one that screwed that move up. That's why my back got hurt. He told me exactly what to do, and it just, in the moment, I didn't do it. But I'm not a professional wrestler, and I don't know how. So you can talk all the trash you want about me, but I did my best. God damn it. But I should have known better. Got this one wrong. Lost you guys more money. But hopefully you guys did the single bet and just did Queen of the Ring. They teased the back injury with Randy. Maybe he's going to go do a movie. Maybe he'll be off TV for a little bit, rest up the body. You know, he's not getting any younger. And he can heal up, and then they'll figure out what to do with him. With the amount of championships he has, I think there eventually has to be a storyline where he chases for the most ever. If he gets one more, I think that storyline could happen after he loses. And he could chase that, which would be kind of cool. The old guy trying to break the record of evil Cena's record, even though the real record's Ric Flair. But here we go. Potato, as they say. Every generation has their greatest. A lot of people say, what's his face? Bill Russell has more rings than Jordan, so he's better. I don't know. I never got to see Bill Russell play except in old replays and people talking about how great he was. I don't know if he was better than Jordan. We go to the main event. John Cena, the champ, versus CM Punk, the challenger. A lot of headlocks in this match. There's a lot of headlocks in this match. But Seth Rollins came out, brought some chaos to it, brought a little life to it, told a lot of story, which I thought made the match a lot more fun. John Cena went through some emotional difficulty in this match. He had an opportunity to smash Punk with the title, and he was like, maybe I shouldn't, maybe I should. Maybe I shouldn't, maybe I should. The little devil and the angel on each gigantic shoulder. And, he, as usual, he eventually listens to evil, and he hugs CM Punk after they thwart Seth Rollins' attempt to cash in and make it a triple threat and get the easy win. And they shake hands, yay, and they embrace, yay, and then he has the same look on his face he did with Cody, and he goes, I'm going to kick you in your nuts too. And he said it on camera so we could basically see that it was coming, which was weird. And then CM Punk caught the boot, because he heard John say it as well, and spun it down, and then Punk came back in, beat up CM Punk, gave him the curb stomp, knocked him out of the ring, and then he gets thrown out of the ring by Cena, and Cena gets the victory and gets the hell out of that ring before he gets beat up and cashed in on again. He also beat up poor referee Charles Robinson, which was the dopest moment of the night. I thought that was awesome. I don't know if y'all liked it or not, but I thought it was really, really cool. And that was the show. And I had a ton of fun watching this one. I watched this one solo. My kids, my daughter was getting ready to go to summer camp, and my son loves racing and was watching the F1 movie, and he has a go-kart tournament where he gets to compete against all these kids from all around the city, and he's pretty damn good. There's this one kid that's going to run in a little bit quicker than him right now, but I think my son's either going to get first or second in his race, so I'll give you guys an update. And goes, he might not, but I want him to experience all the places, right? He needs to know what last feels like, because that sucks and it makes you want to work harder. Or it breaks you, but we ain't going to let it break him. We're supportive parents, don't worry. I want him to know what third place feels like, second place. I want him to know what happens when his car just isn't running as quick as everyone else's. I want him to get wrecked, not hurt, but wrecked and screwed, so he knows how that feels. I want him to, work his way through challenges, so he knows he really likes this. So even though it gives me a heart attack, I want to give him as much support as I can and have him experience as much. He saw that F1 movie. I haven't seen it yet because I was doing the press junket for I Know What You Did, but I hear it's awesome. And if you're not going to see my movie, go see that because everybody seems to like it, and Brad Pitt's cool as hell. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Talk a little SummerSlam, I guess, what we think it's going to be. Cena versus Cody for the Undisputed. That's not what we think. That's what we know. We're going to have Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill with probably a cash-in from Naomi at SummerSlam. I think this is going to be a quick cash-in. They're not going to drag this one out. We're going to have probably Solo Sikoa versus Fatu and maybe sneak some LA Knight in there as well. Where does Rhea Ripley go after beating Raquel Rodriguez? Which title does she go after? She loves the gold. Could it be Becky? Could it be for the Women's Intercontinental title? And then we have Rollins. Is he going to try to cash in again? Is he still feel scorned and burned from his Saudi Arabia trip? Does he take a break from it? Does he do it on a Monday Night Raw? We don't know, but we want to know. All these questions will be answered soon enough. Speaking of questions, we're going to get to all your questions on tomorrow's episode, Thursday Unsanctioned. That's all from me. On behalf of Jeff, on behalf of our awesome producer, Alex, peace.